Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hello and welcome everyone to another day at the podcast. We have got another fabulous The 40/40 Rules Authors series guest today. And this is for our Volume 2 book. And so I'm super excited to invite somebody all the way from Costa Rica. She's one of our international, she's actually an American, but she lives in Costa Rica now.
Actually Canadian.
Oh, you're Canadian. Oh, you know what? That's new to me too. So Freyja, how do you say it? Oh,
Inanna.
Inanna. Okay. Oh, it's like I know I'd mess that up. And what nationality is the last name? That's interesting.
It's Sumerian, actually.
Oh, wow. So, okay. All right. So, welcome. We're so glad to have you on the show today. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Oh, good. So you can hear the birds. If you're listening and not watching the video of this, you can hear and you can see the beautiful scenery behind her, but you'll hear some birds chirping and things. And so it's so nice. And she's all in her sundress and, it's probably like that, 24/7, right?
It's gorgeous. Sometimes it's rainy season, so it'll rain in the afternoon, most likely, most days for a little while, but it's amazing. And there's toucans here, like the full-size toucans and all kinds of other amazing birds. So
wow, that's so great. Well, we're glad that you're part of the book. I'm going to read just a little bit about you. So you have an interesting background that nobody else in the book has. All right. You were born into actually a polygamist community, and you spent your life entrenched in deeply patriarchal society. So you excelled as an RN, midwife, natural healer, and mother of 13. Yes, you heard me, 13 people. She served both within and outside of her religious community, reclaiming her divine power 8 years ago. She drew in her perfect partner, Michael, and he's a Reiki Master and an engineer. So they have created a sacred partnership, shedding restrictions imposed by society and religion and stepping into their true passion and highest calling. So they do Integrative
Orgasmic Life Alchemy.
Wow, that is a mouthful. Okay, so with your intensive retreat programs that you host right there in Costa Rica, you create deep healing and powerful transformation. And that is on the mental, emotional, energetic body levels, simultaneously awakening the divine goddess in every woman and the sacred warrior in every man. Wow. So yeah, you definitely win the prize for diversity here. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's amazing. It's just magical. We just love this work, and we both left six-figure incomes and quit our jobs and went into this work full-time nearly 3 years ago now, and it's been quite a journey. It's been like terrifying at times, and here we are. We're still here, still doing this amazing work and loving it.
Well, to me, just going from you being raised in a polygamous community, him being an engineer, to where you are now, like that is like a 180,
Yep, complete transformation.
Right. Well, so tell me a little more about that, and our listeners, I'm sure they're dying to hear like what transpired, like what got you where you are. Let's hear the story.
Well, I was raised in a polygamist religion, and I was given an arranged marriage when I was 15 years old to a man 10 years older than myself as his second wife. And he went on to become the religious leader of that community in southern British Columbia, and ended up with many more wives. And I found that I had to completely bury who I am to actually even survive in that environment. And I realized at one point that I didn't even know who I am. It was like being alone yet surrounded by people. And
Right.
I certainly didn't have any kind of meaningful relationship with him.
No.
And you know, men in that society so often aren't even able to connect with one woman on that deep emotional level, let alone with many. And it's impossible to spend any kind of meaningful time with that many different partners. So it was just unreasonable. It was impossible. And I had a deep desire for more. And when I finally was able to shed the limiting beliefs, which were subconscious beliefs and programming around any of that even being true, any
Right.
of the religious principles that were being taught, you know, like if I leave, I'll go to hell forever, right? It's all fear based.
Sure.
And so many of those kind of beliefs are that keep us held back, are fear based. And so once I released that, then I was able to actually make the choice. And it was scary, it was terrifying, that I was going to leave and I was going to find something better. And I actually wrote in my journal the kind of relationship that I desired and deserved to have in my life. And, you know, that's a big step for someone who has 12 kids, because, you know, the ego is saying, what man is ever going to want a woman with 12 kids? And 6 were still at home at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And within 2 weeks of me making that journal entry, my current husband asked me out. So
Wow. So how long were you alone? Like that you left? How long had it been?
I had actually only left the community like 3 months before. And actually, I was still living in my home in the community. I just was not a part of the religion or the relationship any longer. And so as far as him asking me out, it was only, like I say, 3 months or so. But in essence, I hadn't had a relationship for years.
Wow.
Because it was non-existent.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's really challenging. Wow. That's amazing. So how did your kids handle all that?
Some of them really weren't very happy about it. There was a few that had quite a bit of resistance, and others totally got it.
Yeah.
They totally got it. They're like, I wouldn't want what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to have love, real love,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Range.
And I one of the things that really drove me to taking that step and having the courage to leave was that by staying in that kind of a situation, I was teaching my children that it was okay. And
Yeah.
you know, teaching my girls that they didn't deserve any more than that, really. And my boys that it was okay to show up that way in their relationships, to not be present and not be connected, you know. So you know, a lot of people feel like they need to stay together for the kids. That's
Yeah.
not true.
Well, I'm with you on that. You know, I've been married several times, and sometimes the best thing you can do is leave for your kids, because
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
they're going to create in their lives the exact kind of relationship that you have if you stay there, right?
Yeah, there's worse things than divorce for sure.
Absolutely.
Probably didn't even have to get divorced, right? Because it's in
No.
No, yeah, yeah, that makes it easy and
Right?
way less expensive.
Yeah.
That's got to be scary. Well, so what made you decide to go to Costa Rica? What brought that all on?
We had decided to go full time. I was working as a nurse on a labor and delivery unit in Oregon, and Michael had been working as an engineer in that area as well, in Portland area. But he had quit working to stay at home when we had our child, which was my 13th child. And he's a beautiful little biracial boy who is he builds bridges of love wherever he goes. You know, across ethnicities, across different faiths, across different families. It's just beautiful. And we made the decision to have him because we wanted to raise a child in an environment that was free from those constructs of fear and lack, and have him to be able to stay in touch with his divine spirit and knowing who he is. So
I'm sure
that was a conscious choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'd stayed home because it made more sense, because my work was local and his work was out of town, so he stayed home with our son.
Okay.
And then we got the training to do the work we're currently doing, which was so profoundly transformational that, you know, what it changed in our lives, and being able, you know, we'd already let go of a lot, but we found that there was so much still stored at a body level, so many emotions and blocks and resistance stored at the body level, because you can change a belief here.
Yeah.
And yet, if the blocks to that are still in your body, the blocks to the new belief, and if you don't change that on a subconscious level, because the subconscious mind is in control of everything.
Yeah.
What
the
we
place in our
believe,
heart is a brain as well. And so,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. But if what you believe on that subconscious level, those beliefs that were created as a child about worthiness and about, you know, shame around our sexuality, which is huge. I mean, if you have shame around sexuality, then that blocks your second chakra, which is in charge of your manifestation and your creativity and your ability to create wealth and all of that. If that's blocked, it's all blocked. So we knew this work was so incredibly important because of where we came from those repressive belief systems. And so that's why we decided to do this work full time.
Wow.
And so then we needed to go to a place that was energetically in alignment with that high vibration and that healing work that we were creating. And Costa Rica is where we were guided to go before we'd even seen it. Our guides were telling us.
People are going there, not only for retreats, but so many are moving there. You're not the only one that I know that's there. I know several, and yeah, it must be amazing. I've never been to Costa Rica. That's got to go on my list.
Energy vortex in this part of Costa Rica is freaking phenomenal. It's so beautiful. There are so many different healers of different modalities that are all coming here that didn't know each other, and then we're meeting new people all the time. And it's like this Chiripa Mountain area is a vortex that is just drawing people here.
Oh wow. Well, I want to know like who your ideal client is. You know, you help them step into their power. How do you do that? And like, who is that for you?
Our ideal client is people who have done a lot of work already. We are not your first step into creating transformation and healing in your life. We are definitely very, very intense and very deep level stuff. So if you've never done anything, we're probably not for you, but we can sure guide you which way to go and to prepare and get ready for this level of work, because this really honestly is the deepest, most intense and vulnerable work that you will ever do. And it's also the safest, most supported and unconditionally loved you will ever feel, because that is the container that we hold. And we are helping people through that transformation of releasing all forms of trauma. Shame is a form of trauma, and especially sexual shame and trauma. So, and then completely rebirthing themselves. So, because when you release that which you're not, that's when you really get in touch with who you are. It's when all that stuff that isn't us, that we've been told is who we're supposed to be, is in the way. We can't actually get in touch with who we are. And that's what I found is before I was hiding. And how can we draw in the kinds of relationships that we truly desire? Someone who is in alignment with who we are when we don't even know.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah. I hear the Canadian in you now.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't remember that. So what do you think about the entrepreneurship side that's come out in both of you after being in, more of the job world and moving now into this? What do you think, like how that's changing the world?
I feel like that the entrepreneurship aspect is changing the world, because when we do what we are passionate about, that is when we're creating change in the world. And we are passionate about this work. We so are about changing society's belief systems one person at a time around the areas of human sexuality and relationships and how that works, how relationships even work. Currently, the way relationships are being engaged in society clearly aren't working with a higher than 50% divorce rate, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's because people are engaging with each other's masks. They're not engaging with the true person.
Right.
And relationships are meant to act as catalysts for growth. And when you're always coming up with that other person's triggers, then again, you can't interact with the real person.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's about doing the deep work individually and then coming together and creating a brand new relationship.
Okay.
That's
Okay. So this brings up a question for me. If you knew someone, like if someone's listening as a listener and they're like, what are some signs of somebody that needs you, whether they're feeling it or they're like, oh, my partner or my spouse, they really need this kind of work. Like what would you say are some signs that they need you? Does that make sense?
well, quite honestly, pretty much everyone needs this work. But the signs I would say is people who are finding that they're having conflict in their relationships, they're drawing into the same kind of relationship that is not in alignment with who they are over and over again. That's one. They're confused about what their life purpose is and actually really don't know who they are. They're not able to connect with their pleasure. They feel shame around their sexuality, or they've got a history of sexual shame and trauma, and because of that, they're not able to engage in their relationship and feel that true and powerful, blissful pleasure that is a two-way thing. It shouldn't be about somebody giving it up for the other person.
Yeah.
It should be about both of them having that intense, ecstatic, blissful experience that is mind-blowing and out of this world. If you're not experiencing that, you need this. Really, truly. It's so powerful. There's so many things, but those are some of the things that just come off the top of my head right now. And it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is or what kind of relationship structure that you have, and whether it's a same-sex relationship, a heterosexual relationship, it doesn't matter. We all have these traumas. We all have these societal constructs and programming, and those things get in the way of us relating effectively with each other and experiencing that deep ecstatic pleasure that we all deserve. And really, honestly, that is the source of our power. That is the source of our creativity and our manifestation. And if we're battling that, there's a war within ourselves, we're creating war in our relationships and in the world around us. So you rejecting the true essence of who you are and where you came from, that's a block. It's a huge block.
Yeah. How long do they come and stay with you?
If we have an online program, which is an 8-week online program, so people can start at that level. If they're not ready to go into the full-on retreat program, they need to, connect with us at a deeper level, do some inner work first. That's a great place to start. If they're just like, I want it all. I want to clear everything. I want to create what I desire deeply in my life. I deserve that, and I'm ready to invest in myself and say yes to me. Then it's 2 5-day retreats here in Costa Rica, and 3 of those days are in session with some integration in between, because it's intense. So you need that integration, and this is the most beautiful place to enjoy nature and have that integration time. So it's those 2 5-day retreats. It is 1 client, 2 practitioners. It's not a group program because this is incredibly vulnerable work. So they need to feel absolutely safe to go into the very depths of the shadows and release that and let in the light. And it's just so beautiful. And people don't even look the same. The pictures are incredible. I would love to show you some before and after pictures of myself.
I've seen some.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even look the same. That's for sure. No,
not at all.
I know. It's nice when people just glow,
Yeah.
they've got things taken care of. Well, how would they find out more about you? I will post your, contact information below, but you want to just go ahead and share that?
Sure. Our website is www.inannasanctuary.com. So that's INANNA sanctuary.com. And they can reach us through email at trust@inannasanctuary.com. And we are more than happy to just hop on a phone call with them. They can schedule a call through us through the website or send us an email, and we'll do a free consultation with them for 45 minutes to an hour. By the end of that, they'll know, and we'll know if we're a perfect fit to work together. And even if we're not, we can give them direction as to where they are ready to go, and also we'll create some amazing breakthroughs on that call, shift some energy, and it's awesome.
Right. Oh, I love that. Well, gosh, I sure appreciate you taking the time to come and join us on the show. And I hope all the listeners got a lot of great information. I guarantee you they've probably never heard this kind of a story before. So I love that it's, because we all have a story to share, and until we share it, no one will know, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again. And like I said, we'll have all our information posted below here. And so you can click on there and go check them out. And, maybe if you're thinking about this being something that you want to move forward towards, then Costa Rica can't be such a bad place to go to get it taken care of.
That's right. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Well, have a great day, and we'll see everybody again on another day on the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.